family conflict and moral courage, it's something we all struggle with. But what if standing up for what's right means losing the people closest to us?
That's such a challenging paradox, especially when you look at how this text frames it through the lens of spiritual growth and personal sacrifice.
You know what fascinates me? Throughout history, we've seen this pattern where moral progress often starts with family division. Studies show that about 40% of people have experienced serious family conflict over moral or political beliefs.
That reminds me of that powerful line in the text about a person's enemies will be members of that person's own household. Pretty profound when you think about it.
And what's really interesting is how this connects to modern psychology. Research shows that moral courage, standing up for what you believe in, often comes with a measurable cost to relationships. But here's the twist, it's also associated with greater personal fulfillment and emotional well-being.
Well, that raises an important question. How do we balance personal conviction with maintaining relationships?
That's exactly what the text addresses when it talks about this paradox of finding and losing life. You know, there's this fascinating study from Harvard that found people who stick to their moral principles, even at personal cost, report higher life satisfaction in the long run.
The way you put that connects perfectly with that part about giving even just a cup of cold water to someone in need.
Right, and here's what's amazing about that metaphor. It's taking these huge philosophical ideas and bringing them down to something so simple. Like, studies show that small acts of kindness actually create ripple effects in communities that can be measured up to 3 degrees of separation.
Speaking of community impact, what struck me was how the text addresses loving those who are marginalized or misunderstood.
Oh my gosh, yes. And this is where modern research really backs up this ancient wisdom. Social scientists have found that communities that actively practice inclusion and acceptance show measurably lower rates of mental health issues and higher levels of economic prosperity.
The practical implications of that are pretty stunning when you think about it.
They really are. And you know what's fascinating? The text's warning about sins of the tongue actually aligns with recent research on the impact of negative speech. Studies show that harmful words literally activate the same brain regions as physical pain.
That's incredible how modern science is validating these ancient insights.
And it goes even deeper. When the text talks about good intentions going wrong, it's describing what psychologists now call moral licensing, where people sometimes use their good deeds as an excuse for less ethical behavior later.
So, in essence, it's warning us about the complexity of human nature and how even our best intentions can lead us astray.
Exactly. And here's what I find most compelling. This isn't just theoretical. We're seeing these principles play out in real time, in movements for social justice, environmental protection, and human rights. People are literally choosing between family harmony and moral conviction every day.
The way you frame that really brings home why this ancient text feels so relevant today.
Well, what makes it even more relevant is how it addresses leadership. Modern leadership studies show that leaders who lead with compassion and moral courage, rather than authority alone, create more resilient and successful organizations.
That really ties everything together, from personal choices to societal impact.
And perhaps that's the most powerful takeaway here. Whether we're looking at ancient wisdom or modern research, the message is clear. True moral courage isn't about being right or winning arguments. It's about maintaining our humanity and compassion, especially when it would be easier not to.
You know, that might be the most important lesson for our times.
It really is. And as we wrap up today, I think it's worth noting that while these choices might create temporary conflict, they often lead to deeper, more authentic relationships in the long run. The research consistently shows that standing up for what's right while maintaining compassion ultimately builds stronger communities.